Hello and welcome to this edition of FYI Weekly, your official source for City of Greensboro news and information. Greensboro's annual Drinking Water Quality Consumer Confidence Report is now available for the community and water customers to review. The report describes drinking water sources, testing conducted on the water, substances detected, health effects information related to violations of drinking water standards, and other information of interest. This Water Resources Department annual report is a performance measure of the quality of water supplied by the city in relation to compliance standards established by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the North Carolina Division of Water Resources. According to the annual report, the city's drinking water is safe and meets or surpasses all state and federal standards. The city regularly monitors drinking water according to federal and state regulations to ensure the production of high-quality water. The report includes water quality lab data collected from January 1st to December 31st, 2022. To obtain a copy of the report, including in Spanish, call the contact center at 336-373-2489. Limited copies are also available at Greensboro Public Library branches. The Greensboro Planning Department invites input from the community to develop a better designed walkway to connect Douglas Park and the downtown Greenway. The goal is for the walkway to make a connection both physically and socially. If you have ideas or want to listen to the conversation, make plans to attend the Douglas Park Design Open House. The meeting will take place from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Thursday, July 13th at the Nettie Code Building Community Room. Use the ramp in the back of the building to access the room. No formal presentation is planned, so residents are welcome to drop in anytime to talk with the project team, learn more about the project, and share their thoughts. The Nettie Code Building is located at 503 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. For more information, send an email to Project Manager Hart Crane at hart.crane@greensboro-nc.gov. The Greensboro Transit Agency, or GTA, is showcasing a new bus design to honor Black men who served in the Continental Army and militia at the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. The special bus wrap titled Black Patriots of the Revolution includes the names of 33 men at the Revolutionary War battle for Guilford Courthouse, which took place in Greensboro in 1781. It also displays several significant images, such as the Guilford Courthouse flag, believed to have flown during the battle, a battle sketch called The Cavalry Charge featuring a soldier on horseback, and a copy of a 1784 petition for the freedom of black soldier Ned Griffin, signed by men who served with him. The images were provided by the Greensboro History Museum and the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. This project was created at the request of Greensboro residents and Mayor Pro Tem Yvonne Johnson. It seeks to honor the contributions of people of color who are often overlooked participants of the Revolutionary War. The bus is operating along GTA routes citywide to allow passengers to enjoy the exhibit in the coming months. Learn more about Black Patriots by visiting the National Park Service website. Cone Health has partnered with the city to share a series of brief and informative videos designed to inspire you to make better choices when it comes to healthy living. Following these tips is an easy way to help each of us improve our quality of life. Let's take a moment to check out today's news for your health.
Addiction is a disease that affects your ability to make healthy, rational decisions. And it's one of the primary health concerns of our time. Let's talk about it. What is addiction? Addiction is a complicated issue. Addiction can look like a lot of different things, but primarily we associate addiction with the loss of control over a certain substance, alcohol, drugs, or a certain behavior too. It's really important to understand that addiction impacts your brain. on a fundamental level, addiction essentially rewires your brain to where you become dependent on the drug or drink or the behavior, and you start to associate that with survival, which is why you often see people make really irrational decisions and do things that they would never do if they weren't addicted. Anyone can be at risk for addiction. It doesn't matter your race, your age, your gender, your socioeconomic status, your level of intelligence. So what are some of the signs that you're dealing with an addiction? One of the ways that you can tell is by asking yourself 4 simple questions. Have you ever felt like you need to cut down on your drinking? Have you ever felt like you were annoyed when someone criticized you about how much you're drinking or drugging? Have you ever felt guilty about how much you're drinking or drugging? And finally, have you ever had a drink or drug early in the morning, what I call an eye-opener, something to kind of get your day started? If you answered yes to 2 or more of these questions, you may be struggling with an addiction. So what are the signs you can look for in someone else who you think might be struggling with an addiction? One of the key signs is isolation. If you find that a loved one is continually getting further and further isolated and leaving you out, leaving you in the dark, not letting you know about what they're up to, if they're also giving up on activities or interests that they used to have, reducing their level of activity. Another sign is if they're drinking or drugging more than they plan to. If someone tells you, I'm gonna have 2 or 3 drinks tonight, and it ends up being 4, 5, or 6, and then the next day it's the same thing, that's a sign that your tolerance is increasing and you might be struggling with addiction. With cancer, diabetes, heart disease, it's very common to get a family history and to tell your doctor everything you know about what your family struggled with. And for some reason, addiction's considered different, but it shouldn't be. Addiction is just like those other diseases in that if we know that a family member, typically going back 2 generations, if we know that they struggled with addiction, that can be a big indicator and a big help for a counselor who's assessing for addiction. So how do you talk about addiction with a family member? That's a really touchy subject. One important thing to know is talk about it when they're sober. Talk about it when they're not using. Talk about addiction in behavioral terms. Talk about things that you've noticed change in their behavior, in their level of activity, in their consequences of their life. Keeping things simple, plain, and understandable is the biggest way to help your loved one. So what do you do when people deny that they have an addiction? Oftentimes this is when professional help is necessary. Making an appointment with a counselor, a family counselor, a substance abuse counselor. We live in such an exciting time for addiction treatment. There are so many options for what to do. Yes, there's the classic inpatient 28-day rehab facility. There's also 12-step meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. A lot of these are really familiar, but there's new and exciting treatments as well. So here at Cone, we have an IOP, that's an intensive outpatient program. It's primarily group counseling. And group counseling is shown to be the most effective form of substance abuse counseling because it gets at that isolation piece. It helps people feel more understood. Another way you can treat addiction is by talking with your primary care physician about medications for cravings. Right now we have exciting medications that are very safe and well studied that can help people tolerate and deal with those triggers and those cravings that happen in early recovery. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this information has been helpful in learning about addictions. If you want to learn more, go to conehealth.com/behavioral health. Thanks again. I'm Wes Swan.
Lanes along 2 major roads in the heart of Greensboro are closed, and we'll introduce you to the winners of this year's Morningside Awards. We'll have those stories and more news coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. Demolition work is underway, impacting one southbound lane and the turn lane of North Eugene Street between Belmead Street and West Friendly Avenue. As a result, the lanes will remain closed during construction. Also affected are the 2 westbound lanes of Friendly Avenue between Commerce Place and North Edgeworth Street. Work is expected to be completed and the lanes will reopen by mid-September. Until then, motorists should use alternate routes or else expect delays in the vicinity of the construction zone. Work schedules are dependent on weather conditions and the availability of materials and equipment. For more information about lane and road closures and to subscribe to receive email notifications about upcoming road work on city streets, visit the city's website. The City of Greensboro's Human Rights Department presented the Morningside Awards at its annual celebration gala. 5 recent graduates of Dudley High School were honored for their demonstrated interest in a profession or college major related to human rights. They received $1,979 each. Nylan Brewington Al-Amar will attend Howard University to study journalism, film, and communications. She wants to open a nonprofit production company. Michaela Garner is an aspiring nurse who would like to open a mobile health clinic for the benefit of all people, especially those in marginalized communities. Leotis Trey McNeil III plans to study law to promote justice and improve the quality of life for people of color and those affected by systemic racism. Jordan Miller will attend North Carolina A&T State University to pursue a degree in journalism and mass communications. He wants to attend law school and become a judge. Last but certainly not least, Anthony Taylor, Dudley's 2023 class valedictorian, will continue his studies at North Carolina State University. The aspiring engineer seeks to develop products and technology to combat social justice issues. The Morningside Awards were established in 2020 by the City of Greensboro to commemorate the 5 lives lost in a mass shooting at a 1979 anti-Ku Klux Klan protest in the city's Morningside Homes community. The Human Rights Department also presented Mosaic Awards to community members and city employees to acknowledge their supportive partnerships. The Greensboro Parks and Recreation Department is once again hosting its free summer playground program, Energy at the Park. This is available in 4 neighborhoods from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mondays through Thursdays, now through August 10th. Rising first grade students through 15-year-olds are invited to participate in free lunch, supervised sports, games, and crafts. Parents or guardians may register their kids at any of the following playgrounds: Hampton Park on Four Seasons Boulevard, Heath Park on Holtz Chapel Road, Sussman Street Park on Sussman Street, and Woodmere Park on Autumn Drive. Energy at the park is subject to cancellation if there's severe rain or extreme heat. For more information, visit the city's website or contact Mel Melton at 336-373-7502. Guilford College is making a positive impact on the community beyond the 4 walls of the campus. This is credited to the new leadership at the helm. Coming up after the break, we'll introduce you to the president of Guilford College. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. It's been a year and a half since Guilford College welcomed its new president. He wasted no time getting acclimated as he settled in and hit the ground running. Joining me now to share insights of his accomplishments is Kyle Farmbry, president of Guilford College. Hello, Kyle. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Well, I am so glad to have you. Thank you for joining me. So you moved to Greensboro roughly 18 months ago from New Jersey. Tell me, what has been most appealing about Greensboro, and has there been anything surprising?
So Greensboro is just such a phenomenal city. Everyone here has been really welcoming. There's this saying around Southern hospitality, and I've definitely sensed it. And it's been really wonderful because it's such a small community. So people get to know each other, and I feel like people want to constantly ask the critical questions on how do we make a great city even better? And I found that all over.
Wonderful. Well, welcome, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you as you've settled into the community. What have you learned so far, and what would you say is the most that you've learned about Guilford College and the students?
So Guilford College has this very interesting history. It was a school that was founded in the 1830s by the Society of Friends, or members of the Society of Friends, also known as the Quakers. And it's a school that's really grounded in areas of social justice and value of everybody, and sort of seeing the light or the possibility in everybody. And those are all values and issues that we've sort of carried from our founding as an institution. So even today, as we think about the various challenges that communities face and the roles that colleges and universities might play in helping to address those challenges, Guilford has a sort of natural place in addressing a lot of that, partially because it's very much who we are and who we've been about since our founding.
And that's wonderful piece of history that you are carrying into our current and modern day curriculum and just the things happening. So tell us about your 5-year plan and how does that all weave together, and maybe some of the primary objectives for Guilford College.
Sure. So our 5-year plan is first grounded, of course, on our role as a college, a small liberal arts college here in the city of Greensboro, where we're focused on trying to find ways that we can ensure the success of every single student that comes through Guilford College. So we're focused on student success and creating opportunities for students. We're also focused on honoring Guilford's role in the community. So we're using the language of an anchor institution, basically an institution that has been in Greensboro for a very long time and will continue to be in Greensboro. So really looking at those community commitments that we can make and finding ways that we can partner with the city and others.
So you're focusing on improving opportunities for certain sectors of Greensboro, mainly East Greensboro. How do you see yourself and how do you hope to accomplish that?
So much of our history is really built on these notions of partnerships. And part of that is really understanding some of the opportunities and some of the challenges. So when you look at the city and recognize that there are still some very, very large disparities within the city, whether or not those are educational disparities or economic disparities, we really want to play a part in helping the city and people in different pockets of the city to find some solutions. So in some parts of the city, there's been historic components of low investment, broader economic needs, and we really want to find some ways that we can identify and work on some solutions to those.
Okay. And beyond Greensboro, you're actually doing global partnerships. What impact do you see that having?
So first is exposing our students and members of our community to the broader world. I'm a big proponent of global citizens and trying to find ways that we can be just as engaged as possible around the world. So we've had some delegations of students that we've taken to parts of Africa and parts of Europe and parts of Asia and basically all over the world. I have a delegation actually next week of students and colleagues that will take over to South Africa with the goal of building some partnerships and some exchanges specifically with some institutions there. So just sort of trying to find ways that we can open up our eyes to the broader world.
Wonderful. Now, Guilford College is known for hosting the Bryan Series, and that's just lectures from really notable people that we know we always value coming here to Greensboro. So what other ways is the college creating conversations designed to address some of these social issues?
So last year we piloted something known as the Guilford Dialogues. And the Guilford Dialogues provide an opportunity for people to come to Greensboro, specifically to the campus of Guilford, and to look at solutions for large social issues. So a year and a half ago, we did a Guilford Dialogue looking at issues of economic inclusion. We just had one in March looking at issues of educational opportunity and inclusion. And then in June of 2024, we'll do another one looking at issues of economic inclusion. So trying to convene, trying to problem solve, and trying to address big issues that our communities are facing.
Fantastic. Well, Kyle, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to give us some insights and just an inside view of what's coming out of Guilford College. I love how you're taking curriculum and the real world and bringing those two things together and really giving your students an opportunity to see where they can fit in some very important areas that need much attention. So do come back and let us know about other initiatives that you are rolling out on campus.
Sure, and thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for some interesting and useful information about Greensboro as we tell you something about the city. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. One way to stay informed about decisions that impact you and our city is by attending or tuning in to City Council meetings at 5:30 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday is reserved for a meeting as needed. The City Council has resumed meeting in the Katie Dorsett Council Chamber on Level 2 of the Melvin Municipal Office Building, located at 300 West Washington Street. The public is allowed in person, but only in a limited capacity. Those who choose not to be in the building can participate virtually. The Greensboro City Council meetings are broadcast right here on GTN. The meetings are also streamed live on the city's website and on Roku. To review the council meeting schedule and agendas, please visit the city's website. Here's an opportunity to learn a little something about the city. The City of Greensboro and Cone Health plan to bring a host of health and wellness services to East Greensboro. The goal is to close the life expectancy gap in that area by 5 years over the next 5 years. Data shows people who live in certain areas of the city die sooner than people who live in other areas, in some cases 15 years sooner. This is mostly due to more chronic health conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and obesity. This partnership is an effort to change those disparities. Cone Health's wellness component plans include a community wellness hub at the Vance Chavis Branch Library. The hub will house a clinic, a telehealth and digital services room, and education space. The Windsor Chavis NoCo Community Complex will host a Sagewell Health and Fitness Center and education space. The Warnersville Recreation Center will be home to other health and wellness programs offered by the Greensboro Parks and Recreation Department. A portion of last year's $135 million voter-approved bond will go toward the Windsor Chavis NoCo Community Complex. The other renovations will be completed using other funds. Some of the Vance Chavis Health Hub's programming will start next year, but the full physical renovation of the facility will be after Windsor Chavis is completed. Coming up after the break, we'll showcase our department spotlight, but first, prepare to mark your calendars for all the places to go and things to do on the town.
I'm Dave, and here are some of the special events happening this weekend on the town. Call the Sitters and celebrate Parks and Recreation Month with Adult Recess, July 14th at the Barber Park Sprayground. This free event for folks 21 and older allows adults to be kids for a night. Enjoy nostalgic playground games, a DJ spinning old hits, and local food and beverage trucks. Learn more at greensboro-nc.gov. The Greensboro Farmers Curb Market hosts its BLT and Tomato Celebration Day on July 15th. Local chef Tracy Furman cooks up tasty BLTs, complete with Niece's bacon, market-sourced tomatoes, lettuce, and mayo on fresh artisan bread. A Mount Olive pickle spear and cheerwine round out the meal, which sells for $10. Learn more at gsofarmersmarket.org. A playoff bid may be on the line when the Carolina Cobras National Arena League football team hosts San Antonio July 15th in the Greensboro Coliseum. Both squads started the month near the top of the league standings. Tickets start at $11.50 and may be bought at the Coliseum box office or online at greensborocoliseum.com. Visit LeBauer Park in downtown Greensboro on July 16th for the latest Bluegrass and Biscuits program. Enjoy free live bluegrass and folk music and purchase tasty treats from local vendors on the first and third Sunday of each month, now through October. Learn more at greensboro-downtownparks.org. Ever wished you could enjoy your favorite older movies on the big screen again? Now's your chance. The Carolina Theater's Summer Film Fest is underway with a host of well-known movies scheduled now through August 9th. The iconic movie musical Grease plays July 17th and is followed by a dance party on the theater stage. Tickets cost $8. Buy yours and find the full film schedule at carolinatheater.com. Stay tuned to FYI Weekly for more happenings on the town.
Welcome back. The City of Greensboro has more than 20 departments and several divisions committed to serving you, our residents and visitors. Let's go behind the scenes in our department spotlight. Creative Greensboro is hosting dance company Joy Movement for a residency at the Hyers today through July 16th. The residency will wrap up with the premiere of Rewind 1968, a Requiem for the Possible. This dance-centered opera examines the consequences of the North Carolina eugenics program. Performances will be at 7:30 p.m. Friday, July 14th and 2 p.m. on both Saturday, July 15th and Sunday, July 16th. The Hyers Theater is located in the Greensboro Cultural Center at 200 North Davie Street. Tickets cost $10 in advance and are available on the city's website. Joy Movement's mission is to tell stories of the African diaspora in a way to inspire audience members to re-examine embedded societal ideas. The company's repertory includes work involving emotion, flow, and intimate connection between the artists at work and the audience. For more information, contact Creative Greensboro's Performing Arts Coordinator, Todd Fisher, at 336-373-2974. Straight ahead on the other side of the break is this week's Way to Go GSO shout out. Stay with us. As we draw to a close, we always want to end on a positive note with our Way to Go GSO shout out. This week's shout out goes to the City of Greensboro. For the 6th consecutive year, the City of Greensboro ranks among the top 40 best-run cities in America, according to the credit services website Wallet Hub. The Gate City checks in 35th among 149 cities rated in this year's report, thanks in part to strong scores in financial stability, total budget per capita, and education. Wallet Hub compared the quality of services residents received against the city's total budget to determine a municipality's operating efficiency and the effectiveness of local leadership. The website noted inflation and elevated homicide rates were key metrics in this year's study, which again revealed how larger cities are more complex and therefore more challenging to manage. That concludes this edition of FYI Weekly, but you can easily stay connected to the latest city news by linking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Alexa users can subscribe to our 5-minute flash briefings, which airs on 90.1 FM and 100.7 FM. Be sure to download both weekly podcasts, Talk City Greensboro and Connect GSO. Plus, GTN is streaming on Roku. For all of us here at the City of Greensboro, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.